Get ready to dive into a world where empires stand on the brink of war and terrible monsters tear at the fragile borderlands of men. The Adventurer Conqueror King System Imperial Imprint, or as we like to call it, Acts 2, is now live on Kickstarter. Acts 2 is the new edition of the acclaimed best-selling fantasy role-playing game. You'll find everything you need to enjoy epic fantasy campaigns with a sweeping scope. Whether you want to crawl through dungeons, experiment with alchemy, crossbreed monsters, run a merchant emporium, raise an undead legion, or even conquer an empire, Acts 2 supports your playstyle. Acts 2 integrates experience point mechanics, making campaign activities a seamless part of the core gameplay loop. Your character levels up in new and exciting ways each time you play, adding massive replayability to each of your adventures. Acts 2 offers 18 character classes, 378 spells, new combat mechanics, and so much more. Support Acts 2 on Kickstarter today.
Somewhere in between, round the table with your friends, playing Dungeons and Dragons. And if life ever knocks you down, your dice will surely turn around. Roll your stats, it's time to quest. Let's put your characters to the test.
Hello, and welcome to Knocked Prone, a podcast of high crits, small fits, and varying wits. My name is Cade, and I'm the host and dungeon master of this Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure, and I am joined here by the players to my left.
Mason playing Luck here.
Brooklyn playing Litzy.
Danny playing Tess.
Caden playing Blink.
All right, as last we left our adventurers, Litzy, do you want to give us a little rundown of what happened last episode?
Yes. So we found a knoll camp and all of our missing ranger friends, and we were fortunate enough to take our ranger friends from the knoll camp. We met the knoll king, who gave us a lot of really interesting information about Great Grumbopolis, and then we left the knoll camp and had a nice little interview with my father, Litzy's father, who turns out has done some bad things in the name of trying to protect Litzy, and we're trying to figure out exactly what kind of control spell something the rangers are under, since they've been affected at least somewhat by the purple goop. So we are trying to help that, figure out what to do with my dad, and figure out where to go from here.
Awesome. That was perfect. Gave me just enough time to do the prep session for today. Let's get going. Just kidding. All right. So that's where we left off. What are you guys up to?
I gotta poop.
All right. I'll leave that to your discretion.
No, the last thing we did is just have this really emotionally intense conversation with my dad, and all of a sudden...
Which is why he's been holding it.
He's back to back is like...
He's been trying to be polite, but
I haven't pooped this whole campaign. Not one.
And he did have
None of us
like...
have talked about our bowel movement.
He did have like
Where are we
5
at?
good berries last episode.
That's true.
Yeah, right.
See you guys in a minute.
So, yeah, do we want to try to set up camp in this forest, since we have kind of cleared it recently, or should we try to find somewhere safer?
Well, I'm open to anything. I honestly don't know where we're going besides getting distance from the gnolls. It's not like we're getting back into Great Grumbopolis just because we... Maybe we do. What if that's our way back in? The Rangers. My father's holding the city hostage for some experiment or something, or I don't know exactly, but what if we bring him some subjects? He opens the door, we use that as our opportunity to get back in. I'm not saying tomorrow, I'm just saying when the time comes. In any case...
What would be our plan if we did get back into Great Grumbopolis? What are we trying to do specifically?
I'm honestly not entirely sure, and I'm actually really curious if that's even the best place for these rangers to go. I don't want to use them as bait to be able to get into Great Grombopolis if we're just going to put them in more danger. And ourselves as well. I mean, we don't know how many people we could be up against if we tried to go back into Great Grombopolis. So I do agree that we definitely need to set up camp to be able to take a little bit of time to relax and get as much information as we can. I don't really feel like we've got all of the information that we could have possibly got from my father so far. So I think that it's worth asking more questions to gather as much information as we can before we decide what we should do next.
I agree. Both of you seem to be into the more spiritual or chaotic realms of magic. Do any of you have some sort of divination spell that would force him to tell the truth? Something that we could actually grill him on questions about and know whether we are getting a truthful or false answer. At this point, Litsy's memory's been played with so many times that he could be telling us stuff that she remembers because he planted it there.
I don't have anything like that right now, but I feel like I could work towards something like that.
All right.
I have something that might help, but I think I'll need to rest and regain my strength and spell slots before I can cast it.
All right. Well, I'm happy to do so. Are we going somewhere in particular?
The only place I could think of is that to figure out a little bit more about this area, we could try to set up camps in one of the old city ruins.
That's true.
And then we could, I don't know, just learn a little bit more about the areas we're dealing with.
All right. Well, we already know what's here. Grombopolis seemed to be a hub. It seemed to be the divergence between realms or something. If we head back there, we should be able to set up a base camp, maybe not horribly far away, but not too close. We can keep an eye on what's going on there. I guess you have most of who you care about out, and you, in particular, don't really have too much family where you came from. Tess, you're the only one with real connections besides myself, so do you want to save your parents from whatever's going on in there?
It seemed like they had whatever they wanted to do figured out.
All right. Well, I have no intentions of going back anytime soon, so perhaps we could set up a base camp somewhere that seems best. We go there, rest for the night, and then we can spend some time exploring the area, finding where we think is best to set up a place, and going from there.
I think that's a good idea. I don't see why there's any reason why we should be rushing back there when we have no idea why we're there or if we're capable of handling whatever is there.
Right.
If the things
Start
that are
walking
on
at
my
this point
priorities,
after you're done pooping.
yeah. So the only things I'm focused on right now is getting a better grasp of this area and figuring out how we can help these rangers.
That is also a point. We have an extra 5 mouths to feed, besides ourselves.
Well, luckily, I can feed all of them. It's not
Well-
great, but it shouldn't be too hard.
Well, eventually, if the rangers become more useful, if we can help them, then the rangers of all people would be great people to have to help us survive out here. So
I agree.
it sounds like we were walking.
Yeah.
Are we ready to set up
sorry, a
camp?
little background. The little mini camp that Litsy's dad had kind of set up in the meantime, was that like a pretty substantial one that we'd be like interested in going back and using? Or was it small just for him, makeshift enough that there's not really any value in going back and reusing it?
It was mainly a one-person like operation thing going down, like not really I mean, you could modify it. He could gather the stuff and bring it with, so that he doesn't have to be part of the the setup that you guys have. He could, fend for himself, is what that is, pretty much.
Doesn't sound like it's too worth going back for.
Well, I think, why don't we rest about... how far away from Great Grumbopolis are we at this point?
Like a half hour, like pretty dang close.
Let's rest here. It's not too close. We know the area isn't immediately dangerous, and we can travel the rest of the way tomorrow and pick an option. See what seems best.
All right.
Hearing that, I take my panda and go sit next to the tree that we didn't murder, and I hang out.
I'll take, actually, this time, if we are by the trees, I'll take the 4 hours that everyone starts to sleep, I'll take the first watch, I guess. I won't really be taking, I won't be too watchful, but I'll be using the time to start assembling the alchemy part of the table that I'm doing, as well as examining some of the trees that we killed, like their makeup compared to other vegetation that I've seen. Not that I've seen a ton of vegetation, as well as like signs of, I don't know. It's like you said that there was purple goop coming out of it.
Yeah.
So I want to see like if it was corrupted, like if this was like if the goop just covered something that was already existent, or if it was like made from the goop, or like what. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can roll it. Roll like an investigation check, I guess. Sorry.
And 11 plus 5, 16.
Nice. Okay. So as you're looking at the trees, right, to see if the goopiness, it seems that the trees aren't necessarily made out of goop or weren't covered in goop. But as you which tree are you investigating? Like a dead one, an alive one?
Yeah, it would have been, we have one of the living trees still there. I would be taking the dead one first, and I guess to clarify what exactly I'm doing, I want to see if it has I have alchemical components.
Right.
So I want to see if, I want to put it in like acids and bases and stuff, and see if it has a carbon compound makeup, if it has or an arcane makeup.
Yes. So as you are experimenting with the dead tree, like the roots of it, you kind of notice that the carbon has mainly been taken over by a lot of magical components, but then when you test like the tree as it keeps going up, the rest of the tree is more carbon. Is more consistent of carbon,
Okay.
which kind of you get the gist that maybe they weren't like this, but they seeped something up from the ground and it made them like this.
Okay. Cool.
And if you want to make a perception check at disadvantage as well.
One's a 19 and one's an 18.
Nice.
Perception, 19.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So as you're keeping watch, you notice a small fire start right next to Litzy. And then upon further investigation, you see that it is Harold, Litzy's father. He started a small fire next to Litzy and is sitting down with his back turned, looking out into the horizon towards Great Grumbopolis. It seems that he's also taking watch, but nothing happens other than that during the 4 hours.
Okay. I'll keep an eye. I'm assuming it's not, when you say lighting a fire, I'm assuming he's doing it for warmth and comfort. He's not like next to her, like sparking some stuff on.
No, like a small
fire.
a small campfire next to Litzy that
Okay.
he's tending to and keeping himself and Litzy warm.
I guess, yeah, throughout the night, I will just position myself to watch him for the most part, just for any actions that I deem hostile, I guess, or just suspicious.
Yeah, nothing happens. He stays seated the whole time, just watching.
Does he stay
towards-
awake the entire time I am?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I would be happy to take second watch and be up I particularly want to work on... Wait, do you sleep? Yes.
I
Meditate.
meditate for 4 hours.
Okay. So you still can't be watching the whole time, though. So.
Yes, it's more of like a... Yeah, I can't. It's still like the same as sleep where like I'm not focused on what's going on around me.
Yeah, not super conscious. Yeah, I would be happy to take a watch for a time, and I want to work on another Eldritch Cannon. So I am also technically on watch and not being very watchful, but...
Okay. You can only have one Eldritch Cannon at a time, so you'd have to disassemble your other one.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. So go ahead and roll me a perception check at disadvantage.
3 for my perception.
3? Okay. So you are keeping watch. You kind of aren't really watching, though. You're mostly keeping focus on your Eldritch Cannon. But so as you're working on your Eldritch Cannon, you don't really notice, but you look over and you see that your dad is still keeping watch, not sleeping. And he is tending to the fire, not saying much to you, looking over at you every so often.
You just found out your father's been manipulating you your entire life so that he can hide something terrible.
No,
that he
and
said
lied
to you.
about how my mom died, or not. I didn't. Yeah, about her and everything. So I'm gonna say that for the first hour or so, I didn't say anything, but rather focused on my Eldritch Cannon for a little while. But eventually, I do want to turn to him, and I'll say, are you going to tell me anything more about the way that Mother died?
What more is there to say?
Well, the story you gave was lacking in some serious detail. Do you know who the person was? Do you know their motivation?
I know who the person was. Her name was Raven. And she was very close to your mom.
Well, with that information, I would think that you'd have a lot more detail than that.
I don't think you're thinking quite clearly on this. Did you notice anything different about your mother when you were a child?
No, and I'd really appreciate it if I didn't have to beg for all these details, but instead you would just be decent enough to give them to me.
Okay. Well, she was not originally from Great Grumbopolis. She was an outsider who came here. Not during the first influx of people who came with Oleander. She was someone who came after, and nobody knew where her and her sister came from. Her sister, Raven.
So, I mean, that surprises me that I don't know who this woman was, if she was my aunt.
Raven mostly kept to herself. She had jealous tendencies. Your mother had this inert ability to blend in with crowds. She was able to put on an appearance to appear as a gnome, whereas her sister was less fortunate.
And what was her motivation?
Who?
Raven's motivation in killing.
As far as I can tell, blind jealousy. I wasn't there.
And where did she go? Where is she now?
Did you ever read any books about this little place? It sounds like you probably heard it in some fairy tales that I read you when you were growing up. It's called the Feywild. You ever heard of that place?
A little bit, yes.
Or the Fey, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
That's where your mom's from. And that's where Raven's from. And I believe that after Raven killed your mother and she was put on trial, that she escaped and left Great Grumbopolis and I would guess went back to the way she came.
All right, well, I still don't feel like you've been particularly helpful or eager to give me any details, but if you can think of anything else you would like to share with me.
What about you? You haven't been very particularly helpful. What about when your friend was holding me hostage? Did you do anything?
What would I want to do in that situation?
I don't know. Stand up for me. I raised you.
have any trust for you. Nothing you've done in the past 24 hours has screamed trust at all. And to be honest, you've been extremely unhelpful in this journey so far.
What about the last part of the 12 years that you've been alive? Is that not something to base some trust off of?
Not when you have to throw it away like that. Not when you can crush trust in a minute. And that's exactly what you did.
Okay, well, keep working on your projects. And he's going to get up and he's going to go walk over to Q and he's going to start tinkering.
Well, good, because I didn't want to talk to him anymore anyway.
Angst. Do you watch for 2 hours and then wake somebody up so you can get your full hours of rest?
Yeah, I'm not going to be awake for super long because I do need a lot of sleep for my full rest. So I assume we would have kind of planned this out before we fell asleep, but who would like to take the next watch?
You're just going to have to wake someone up.
Okay.
We didn't plan this out.
Well, I will wake up Tess because he's much less scary than Blink.
I'm so upset. No, I'm just kidding.
Tess, as you wake up, you notice that your panda has gone from Kiss the Bag 24 hours.
Bye, big boy. And then I pull another one out of the hat.
Okay, roll me a d8.
Oh, right. Wait. Bag. Bag, not hat.
You wear it on your head like it's a hat.
Yeah, everything's a hat if you put your mind to it.
Particularly if you stick your mind inside of it.
Yeah.
6.
As you put your hand in, you pull out this big black and white ball, and you're like, oh, the panda again? And out comes a little cow. For real this time, though, because I moved with the panda last time, too. Anyway, but yes, a little a cow comes out, full-ish size. It's kind of smaller for a cow, but it is. It comes out and it starts chomping on some dead tree roots.
Welcome back, big boy. Well, sleep well, Litzy.
Keep a good eye out for us.
Oh, me and big boy have 4 eyes. And they're all good.
All right. Good night.
Good night. All right, and I start just parading around camp with Big Boy pretty much while trying to keep him a little quiet.
Okay, roll me a perception check with advantage since you have a buddy.
22.
22. Okay. As you are keeping watch,
With notes, specifically, I want to see how the Rangers appear to be, like, positioning themselves. Like, are they just sleeping? Does it look like any of them, like, are kind of interested in trying to get away eventually, or are they all just pretty content to just cruise along with whatever?
as last we left them, I'm pretty sure they're still tied, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so they're all sitting in a circle, still in the tied position that they were. They seem sound asleep. A few of them looked like they might have struggled to get asleep while all in the circle thing, but they're all sound asleep at the moment. None of them seem to be brooding or plotting.
Okay.
But with your 22, you notice, again, Litzy's father's still awake, keeping watch with his fire. He's now put out his fire, I guess, and he's still tinkering with Q.
Debating if I would, like, go talk to him. I feel like Tess would think about it, but with tension so high right now, probably not.
Yeah.
A little too much to handle.
Yeah. Okay. So do you do anything else while you're on your watch?
No, mostly pet Big Boy real good, and I'll cast a Good Berry
Okay.
and get him all ready, try to set him up nicely.
Nice. Okay. Then there we go. You guys all wake up with full spell slots, full hit points, and you are ready to hit the day.
So I wanted to wake up extra early,
Okay.
and I'm going to go hunting.
Okay, awesome. Roll me a survival check.
Okay. 13.
You do not survive. Oh, no. Just kidding. I've been waiting. It's been at the back of my head. With a survival check of 13, you were able to find 5 rabbits and round them up. And so now you can add 5 rabbits meat to your inventory.
Okay. So then, I guess, like first thing, I'll wake up, go hunting, come back, and I'm gonna cook the rabbit.
Okay. Yeah. There's seems to be some coals that were made the night before, so your fire making seems like it's pretty easy. You don't even need to make a roll to see if you can do it. But yeah, you cook the food, and everyone wakes up to the smell of fresh rabbit.
Smells delicious. No offense to your cooking or anything. I have a little bit of a refined palate. Would you mind if I maybe flavored it to a little bit more of my liking? I can do it for everyone.
Well, you could if you wanted to, but I'm sorry to say this food isn't actually for you.
Look here will be extremely offended and be like, oh, very well. And we'll walk over and like go to Tess and just like, Tess, you had offered good berries last night. Do you still have some?
I absolutely do. And I will give you a good berry.
Thank you very much. And I will give Tess a gem. You get a 10 gold piece little like gem that's out of, I'll do this all while staring at you. Like, and then like storm off like I just won the biggest fight.
I love how you're like, can I just add like a little salt and pepper to that? Yeah. So when this is finished cooking, how many of the ranger kids were there?
5.
Was there 5? Oh, dope. So I'm gonna take this cooked rabbit, and I'm gonna use prestidigitation to season it.
Oh, there you go. Never mind.
And then I'm gonna feed them the rabbit. I also have to roll on the wild magic table.
Yes, you do. Roll me a d20 and then your
a
percentage
D20?
dice. Yes.
Oh, okay. This is what I add 5 to.
Aha.
Perfect, because I got a 4 plus 5, so that's 9.
Okay. And then roll me your d100s.
Okay. 34.
So with a 34, man, I swear all of your wild magic rolls are themed. But with a 34, approximately 100 gallons of water appear over your head and those within 10 feet of you, evenly distributed above everyone within the radius. So 10 gallons of water fall on you and everyone in the party. Just
I'm just gonna say, hurry! Look up and open your mouths.
I've provided water.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we all get. What the heck? Is this part of your cooking?
I think we all needed a shower, honestly.
Yeah. Big boy could have used a shower.
Oh, those rabbits look extra juicy. Good job there. They needed that extra water, huh, Blink? And Litsy's dad like pats you on the shoulder.
I'm gonna say, yes, they did, and I'm gonna kind of scoot away a little bit.
And he's like, oh, sorry. Well, I was gonna give you this 11 gold piece gem, but whatever.
I grew up in the wild, so material things and currency doesn't really compute with me.
Oh, well, fine.
I love that Litsy's dad is like the one like person on the playground who wants to hang out with like somebody, and everyone's always like,
No.
hey, like, yeah, and you're just like, you feel bad, but
Like super awkward, terrible jokes.
Although I will go over and I'll just offer him a good berry.
I will flavor his good berry to taste like crap, like literal crap.
Oh no.
From with prestidigitation as I see him handing something.
He watches you.
Well, like, I don't know if you've had food or not, but
So yeah, he looks down at the good berry that Tess offers him, and he looks really sad. It's apparent that he's very hungry after the wild magic thing that happened with Blink, and so he reluctantly takes it, knowing that Lakir has flavored it so, and eats it, and then looks over at you, Lakir, very disappointed.
very startled.
Hey, kid. Cut it out. You're a bully just like your father. Do you know that?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, am I?
The last person, the only person who's casted such a dastardly spell on me, like hold person, was your father.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, if you weren't a rat, I wouldn't have had to.
A rat. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Well, go tell Daddy about our plans here, won't you?
I thought that was your job.
Oh, okay. You know
I
what?
walk away immediately.
Tess is gonna go cry.
Oh, I'm gonna be like, oh, Tim really needs to, big boy, needs to go eat, and then I'll run away.
I'll go and I'll say, why don't you go and look after the kids?
Yeah, okay, sure. He'll walk over. And you, Lakir, notice that you very much upset him as he storms away, deflated.
All right, well, what's the plan for today?
You guys hear, and the kids start running.
Like, are they running away?
No,
Or
they're just running in
just
like
going
circles,
crazy?
going crazy. And does anyone want to look over, see what happened?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Litsy's father set the rope on fire that was holding them together. And he's looking right at Lakir as as he did it.
As soon as I see him doing, I'm assuming Litsy's about to open her mouth to scold him or something.
Yes.
You will see me raise my hand and point my 2 fingers, and you'll see a dart of arcane energy just appear out of my right hand and fly towards Litsy's father. It's still chaotic since it hasn't been mastered yet, but it'll just be a really bad attack roll. 9?
Does not hit.
Yeah. What happens to me? Because I still cast 94 in the wild magic table.
Oh, roll me a d20 as well.
Oh, it's okay. A 15.
It's a good wild
That's
magic
a good
roll.
wild magic table. The target that you cast this at, if hit, suffers blindness for 1d4 hours.
Dang it. Well, it didn't hit. So, since usually it would affect me as well, since it didn't hit, does nothing happen, or am I blind?
Oh, I guess that would happen to you?
So I'm blind
For 2 hours. Yes.
for 2 hours. Okay.
Oh,
'Kay.
no.
Very fair.
Anyway, sorry.
What
I
do you
forgot
do?
that was for the...
I'm blind for 2 hours.
I know, but what do you do when you realize you've gone blind?
Oh, yeah. I'll kind of go and... Oh, I haven't worked it out yet. Last time was too much sight. This time, not enough. I'm going to, go and just sit down in place, and I will conjure up Phoenix, and I will use my ability to see through his eyes. Does it work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we should roll... I guess we should roll initiative since an attack was done.
Cool.
I'm sorry that I hate your father so much. He's a proxy.
Nat 20. This never happens for initiative. Oh my gosh. So I got an 18.
14.
13.
6.
Yes, for once I'm gonna go first.
I was going to count it since it was a natural 20, unless somebody else got a natural 20 and had a higher dex than you.
So without really considering the fact that obviously my father is going to be much stronger than me, I'm just gonna barrel towards him as quick as humanly possible and just try to tackle him to the ground.
Okay. Roll me a strength v strength.
19.
Taken down by a bunch of 12-year-olds.
Meets beats.
Oh.
Sorry, he rolled a 17 and his score is +2. So he, as you go to tackle him, he's like, kid, this isn't your fight. And he picks you up and places you next to him.
I'm infuriated, but also my turn's over.
I imagine you as a really angry Kirby. Isn't that what
Yes,
that little
yes.
pink guy's called? Yeah.
I'm
just
look like I'm gonna just totally blow him down to the ground and then just knock into him.
He's a
and-
gnome as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's just, it's just...
Yep.
Beautiful.
All right, Lakir, it is your turn.
I will I will go back to the tried and true and cast Hold Person.
Okay. He rolls a wisdom save.
Yep.
What's your spell save?
That is a great question. 8 plus 15. No, 13.
Oh my gosh. I was going to say he fails, but he rolled a 13.
Okay.
So he passes.
Beats every time
And he looks
with
at you.
this guy.
He looks at you and he's like, "Kid, just say you're sorry and I'll fix everything. I don't want to fight you, and I don't think you want to fight me." And then with that,
He's a cocky
it is
little
Tessa's
guy.
turn.
I'm gonna walk over with the cow to Harold.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hand him the bag. Like, can you watch the cow for a second? And I'm gonna hand him the bag so that the cow will follow him. And then I'm gonna start walking over and trying to calm down the rangers.
Sure, yeah. Roll me a animal handling check.
That's how it sounds bad.
There's no better one.
Yeah, for corralling
Yeah,
children.
like, I don't really know. Like, there's nothing better than, like, okay, animal handling. That sounds good.
23.
Holy cow. You wrangle all 5 kids up, and then
Ooh.
they're, like, playing Simon Says with you. Like,
Yeah.
you don't speak the same language, but they're
Actually,
like...
no, we're playing down by the banks of the Hanky-Panky where the bullfrogs.
While me and him are like dueling right now.
And they're all like za 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 ba za za ba za za ba za za. Yes, they don't understand it all, but they hear the tune. Is that the end of your turn?
Yes, we
Okay.
continue to play.
And with that, it is Blink's turn.
Okay. So looking at Lakir, do I feel like he's handling himself pretty well?
I mean, I'm not hurt. I technically have my arcane ward, since I took a long rest, is back up to 7. So I'm doing fine health wise. I don't know. I'm
Like,
blinded.
Blinded wise, yeah. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It would be up
Lesser
to you.
restoration would take away blindness.
That's what I was
technically.
thinking.
So,
It would be up to you to just say whether he's able to notice that I'm blind.
with your experience with the gnolls yesterday, you would totally see the blindness, like the white or the color in his eyes fades to white.
Okay.
Just so.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk up to him and I'm going to say, this will make up for the rabbit and cast lesser restoration and get rid of his blindness. So,
Thank you.
And is there anything else you'd like to do with your turn? Oh, and roll me a wild magic.
yes.
The target of your spell takes.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
target of your spell dies.
So that is a 19.
Okay.
And then 79.
The target
Oh, no.
suffers blind.
Oh, yeah.
You conjure a wasp nest that resides in the target's mouth. So you are no longer blind, and he's like, "Hopefully, this will make up for this,
Yeah.
for the rabbits."
Oh, no.
And immediately just starts stinging you.
This is karma for casting it on the good berry.
It just sacrificed one sense for another, you know? So,
I can at least fight with wasps in my... Well, I don't know if I could, actually. I'd probably be freaking out.
With that, it is Harold's turn, and he looks over and he laughs. His like dad belly laughs at Lakir as he's watching him. He's like, "You need any help, bud? Give up this fight. You're not really like I don't want to hurt you, kids. I was just teaching you a lesson. Don't flavor my berry." And he's gonna ready an action.
All right.
So with that, it's Lissy's turn.
Oh man, I really want to start beating him up. I don't want to kill him. I just want to beat him up.
Yep, that's the same.
I'm like, because I think at this point my intelligence should have kicked in enough to know not to try to tackle him again.
Sure.
So I'm gonna say that, like, as I tried to run into my dad, I kind of got knocked to the ground next to him a little bit, and so I'm gonna like turn to him, grab onto both of his ankles, not ankles, and cast the cantrip Shocking Grasp.
Okay, roll it. Or I guess, does he make is it a dex save?
Ooh.
It just has damage. It's 1d8.
Oh, so roll a spell attack.
15 to hit.
15 does not hit.
I'm getting really ticked off.
As you do that, Harold is going to frown at you, and he's with his talking action, he'll just say, "Hey, Q, come here. Is there anything else you'd like to do with your turn?"
No, but I will note that I am getting notably more infuriated with every failed attempt to do something to him.
Okay, and with that, it is Lakir's turn.
Okay. I'll say to him, well, first off,
You take 5 points of piercing damage.
fair enough.
Sorry, that was max. I rolled a d4 plus 1.
Does
so
my
your ward takes that.
my ward takes that? Okay. I didn't know since it was in my mouth if it would.
I don't really know how wards work, so
I don't either. So it's supposed to like float around my head. So
in your mouth too.
yeah, I guess it's magic though, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it works out.
Anyway, sorry.
You're good.
I'll spit it out, and then I want to say something clever, but I don't think Lakir would after just having wasps in his mouth.
Hey.
Yeah, exactly. So, just being infuriated, humiliated, I am going to once again cast an arcane dart because I gotta get my practice hits in and keep on throwing.
Okay.
Throw another one.
Roll to hit.
Ooh, that one's better. 19.
A 19 hits.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
He takes 4 points of force damage.
Okay, and roll on the
then-
wild magic for you first, and then for him.
So, for me, 18 and 56.
Okay.
For him, 8 and 57.
Each creature that attacks you within 1 minute of this spell has blindness and deafness effects on them for the rest of the minute. And for him, for the next day, anytime you make an ability check, roll 1d6 and add to the result for him.
Okay. So,
And that will trigger his reaction, which he's going to use Absorb Elements, which is going to take a lot of the damage that you dealt to him.
So he's blind, but he gets an extra d6?
Well, not
Just
yet.
for any-
Only if he
any
attacks for the
ability.
next minute. You're good. Anyway, with that is Tessa's turn. You are playing down by the banks of the
now I
hanky-panky.
very casually slip out of the circle, but try to scoot them together so that they keep playing.
Yeah, and they nod at each other like, yeah, we got rid of the camp counselor. And they start adding in swear words every so often. But yeah, they keep going.
And then I'm going to walk back and say, hold on. We cannot fight while Big Boy's in the middle of all this. And so I go over and I'll take the bag.
as he's recoiling.
And then I'm going to try to put my arm around Harold and walk away with him and the cow.
Around Harold?
I'm stronger than Harold, maybe. I'm going to try to lift Harold up and put him on the cow.
Yeah, roll me a strength through strength.
3?
Oh, was that a natural 1?
It was just, no, I just have no strength.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know why I thought I was stronger than Harold.
I know he told you he had a plus 2.
I try to make it seem friendly so he doesn't fight it.
Yeah, well,
oh, hey, I have an idea. And then I'll try to, lift him up.
yeah, he's like, oh, great idea. And he picks you up and he puts you on the cow and he slaps the cow on the butt. And the cow just, slowly starts walking the other direction.
All right.
We are the most chaotic group.
Yeah.
We woke up, had breakfast, and fought our dad.
And with that, it's Blink's turn.
Okay.
We don't even need a storyline. We don't need Great Grumbopolis. We'll just fight each other to the death.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll take a few sessions.
Interpersonal conflict will just kill us all.
I quickly find that I'm enjoying riding the cow.
Tess is like,
You got a farmer
with
hat
it.
on.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Nice.
I'm going to run to Harold, and I'm going to attempt to restrain him
Okay.
or grapple him.
Roll
Yeah.
strength through strength.
Okay?
That's a natural 20, sir.
Oh,
But-
come on.
but you
Meets
roll
beats.
yours, sir.
Meets beats. No,
Dang.
it didn't beat.
Okay. Yeah, so he's going to pick you up and try and put you on the cow. But Tess is too far away, so he just sets you back down. He's like, hey, it's not your fight, kid. It's not even a fight. And then he looks over at Lakir, and he smiles. And it is his turn. He will cast...
He's blinded.
He's not blinded. He hasn't attacked yet.
Oh.
Any creature who attacks you
that
is
makes
blinded and
sense.
deafened.
It's not any hostile creature. Smart.
He's just gonna prepare an action to attack Lakir again, and he will cast a spell on himself called Sanctuary.
Oh.
Yes, and with that, he frowns and looks at Lakir, and he says, "Stop trying to attack me. You're not gonna win this fight. Just apologize about the good berry and prove to me that you're better than your dad. Because right now, I don't believe you that you're not on his side." And that's his turn. Litzy, it's your turn.
What did he do? He cast
Sanctuary on himself.
Which?
Sanctuary. He wards himself within range against attack until the spell ends. Any creature who targets the creature must first make a wisdom save. On a failed save, the creature must choose a new target or lose the attack or spell. The spell doesn't protect the warded creature from area effects such as explosions or fireballs.
So do I see him do this? Like, am I aware of what he just did?
Yeah.
Okay. And so would Firebolt be excluded from that?
Firebolt is a cantrip, so you could roll it and try to attack him.
But it would require a wisdom.
A wisdom
saving
save
throw.
in order to do, which you have advantage against since you're a gnome.
Well, yes. In my fiery rage that is building up inside of me, I'm going to cast Firebolt. Starting with a
Wisdom save, which
first.
you have advantage against, so you can roll 2d20s if you'd like.
12.
Does not save.
The angst is boiling higher and higher.
So as you look at your dad, the sanctuary spell kind of takes into effect, and you look away from him, and you just can't keep eye contact with him. And with that, it is Lakir's turn.
All right. I will attempt to attack him.
Okay.
I will have intent to attack him. So,
Right.
Wisdom save.
Yep.
That was the worst, and it was a natural 1. So.
Oh dang. Okay. Yeah.
As I kind of go, I'll... Very well. I don't really want to hurt you either, but just had to teach you a lesson, not to set our captives free.
Well, I hope you learned your lesson.
And I hope you did as well.
Oh, I didn't learn anything.
Well, then perhaps...
And he looks at Q and he says, "Heal me, Q." And Q heals him.
I'll go and say, "May I have a discussion with each of you?"
I try to turn the cow around.
Yeah, you're like riding up into the sunset. Just like, this is nice. Anyway, but yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. I get off and we'll come back.
I walk over in a huff, but I'm here.
Me too.
Litzy, I loathe your father. He's currently number 2 on my list. Now, I think it is best for our sanity that we cut him from the group and travel without him.
You could not possibly trust him just roaming about on his own.
I'm more hoping he'll be dead by morning.
But for the possibility that he's not dead in the morning and instead is roaming around, possibly making more trouble than he already has, and it's a little bit terrifying.
Okay. I have 2 ideas. First off, long shot, random idea. If we tied him up and placed him within the Fey area so he couldn't move, time would go slower and then we could just pull him out when we were ready. So it'd only be like a couple seconds or a couple minutes that he was tied up and in the Fey while we could do a lot.
That's a good
That is
idea.
a fantastic idea.
Assuming it
do you
works.
Do you
If
think
it
that our
doesn't-
friend in the Fae would help keep watch of him and keep him there for as long as we needed?
Well, I don't think it would be that long because it was 3 months.
That's true.
And we were only there for a few minutes. So if we tied him up and threw him in, by the time he could figure out how to get loose, we'd probably be back.
Look over my shoulder. Is he
No,
nearby?
he's currently still fidgeting with Q.
Or, alternatively, because that is kind of risky, he could get lost in the Fey, and I don't know. Alternatively, we could just only communicate with him through me, since I don't really have much weighing on
While
our
I don't
relationship.
mean to offend you, he's proven to be fairly manipulative already, and you are naive. It may not be best. Litzy at least has had experience and knows she's being manipulated. I've been manipulated by my father my whole life. We have some defenses. Have you had any experience? Do you know what to look out for? Do you know when he's being truthful, dishonest?
I don't have much experience with that, but of course any ideas you have, I'll always run by you.
I just say because you seem like a trusting person. Perhaps he needs to use the bathroom and you decide to keep an eye on him and he jumps you. We're down you and he has a hostage against us. I'm saying this, like I said, not to offend you, but out of care for you.
That's fair. Because I don't have much experience with this.
I guess he does have animal form. Question.
What?
You seem to not recall your instances of transformation. Are you aware or not aware that you turn into a wolf under stressful circumstance?
What? I mean, I've had a few dreams where I remember becoming a creature or being within one, but I don't think I've ever just actually become a creature.
Well, I've watched you on 2 occasions do just that. With my own eyes. Once in the library, you saved us from the golems, and once when we were sleeping, when the rangers came. Do you remember that?
I don't know.
Anyone?
And I'll like kind of step back and like just kind of like look off into the distance a little bit.
Did I say something wrong?
I don't give a response, assuming that was a rhetorical question.
It wasn't. Lakir is genuinely confused as to why he's
To
upset.
me, it was obvious enough that I assumed it was rhetorical.
Well, all right. Sorry.
We've got to work on your people skills.
Quite. All right. So, what are we doing with him?
What do you suggest? What would be your ideal situation?
Already told you mine, but I do agree with you that it's not the smartest idea. Perhaps. I don't know. Even if we let him wander, he could just follow us. If we can't beat him now, what's going to stop him from trailing us the entire way? We have to do something. I do like Tess's plan. If we can convince... How are we going to convince the man in there to agree if we don't go in there ourselves? We'll lose another 3 months' time, and who knows what will happen then.
How long do you think it'll take us to drop him off and come back?
30 minutes travel. Another 30 minutes back. If he's resisting, that's about an hour's travel there. 30 minutes back. If he's cooperative, not as bad. Or at least restrained.
Because I could suggest him to want to stay and not leave until we return.
But he's following us as is now. We can just lead him there, and then you can use it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, the only thing I think is because it sounded like the Faith's kind of a bigger area because, like, he couldn't find us for quite a while in there. We're going to want to attach, like, a string or something to him.
Well, he said he didn't see us. He said he was looking for us, but that he didn't see us in the field of flowers.
Okay.
So, yeah, at least we'll have to be able to pull him out is all I'm saying, or have some sort of connection so that
What if we just
doesn't
lump
just
this all
get
together?
lost.
We have 5 rangers we have no idea what to do with, and 1 person who is potentially hostile. We tie them up, put them in there. It's like a time capsule. We'll come back later, see what's happened, and hope everything's all right. I'm assuming
much-
if they're not wanting to be in there, they'll leave the same way we did. If we're there when they do, we can figure out what to do from there.
How much rope do we have? Do we have enough to tie them up? Like,
Yeah, 500
Yeah.
feet
Well,
that they threw
I
from
think we
the-
left it up there.
Well,
Oh, they probably pulled it
they
back.
either they closed off the entrance, and to me it seemed much easier to throw down a 500 feet of rope than to drag 500 feet of rope
Okay.
up. That was my logic. So we do have plenty of rope at the base.
Because, yeah, that could work pretty well, honestly. Because it's going to be hard to maintain babysitting these rangers, and we don't know what they want or when they might get upset. So if we could just find a way to keep them docile until we get back.
I think that is a great way, especially because we know from experience that time passes differently. They're not going to starve to death. They're not going to have any terrible things. They'll be themselves an hour later,
So-
just 3 months later in our time.
Sorry, final plan idea is just that we tell him we're going to go back to salvage the base camp he had already made as the place we're going to rest. And that's our reason for going back over by the Fae.
Well, sorry. Something's just occurred to me. So, what are we after? Anyone have any immediate direction or goal or something that they want to achieve?
Blink, do you think you could lead us to one of the cities?
I think I could probably find one nearby.
I want to see if people are trying to still survive in what is now the ruins of these cities.
We've only ever heard hostile things about what is outside of Great Grombopolis, but I think that it's worth exploring and carefully seeing what kind of new allies we could possibly find outside of Great Grombopolis.
I concur. If this morning has proved anything, that we're not strong enough to take on Litsy's father, let alone my own, we'll need help.
Hey, just so for the record, I'm stronger than your father, Lakir. And he's walked
Really?
over.
Well, I don't believe you, but say what you will.
My only weakness is standing here in this group. He looks straight at Litzy. He's like, I'd do anything for you, kid. Now let's get over to the Feywild and drop me off. And with that, that's where we're going to end our session. My name is Cade, and I am the host and dungeon master of this Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure. And I am joined here by the players to my left.
Mason playing Lakir.
Brooklyn playing Litzy.
Danny playing Tess.
Caden playing Blink.
All right, awesome. We hope you remember when life knocks you flat on your back, that all you got to do is keep rolling, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.